Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. That's what I think when I hop out my bed. Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. When I wake up, I gotta get fed. Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. It's a new day, so some money up for me. Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. Watch me do my dance, watch me do my step. Hi guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Knowledge Finder. Today we have another special guest in the building, an interior designer going by the name of Melanie. She founded the company Capital Elite. Check it out on Instagram. She designs a lot of cool properties from new builds to old stuff. And I'm really interested in like interior design, how the interiors of properties look. I just check that stuff out when I'm looking for motivation or inspiration or seeing where I want to go next. So Melanie, thank you for coming down today. Could you please introduce yourself and your company, please?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Melanie Saka. My company is called Capital Elite. I am a property stylist, home stager. I do all things from home decor, home styling. That's my remit.
Okay. And how did you get into it then? How did you start?
It all started with passion. Just naturally, I always used to do friends and families' homes for free anyway. Just reorganize, restyle, use their own stuff, move it around, make it more visually creative, and inject back a kind of a luxury fashion element into their homes. So it started with that, and then naturally I thought, turn this into a business and actually sell this. There is a market here in the UK for staging properties. Helping people to get the most value out of their property. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how it started. Property staging is very, very big in America, and it's becoming a lot bigger now in the UK.
So for those who don't know, can you explain a bit more about what property staging is?
Yeah, so property staging is ultimately depersonalizing the aesthetics of someone's home to cater for a wide audience of people. And ultimately, it allows a property owner or property seller or developer to attract a higher offer or increase the value of the property that they put on market because they change the aesthetics, the look and feel, etc.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So when you was starting your career then, how did you move into interior design, property? Let's go back to the beginning.
So my family's always been in property, from investing and property management. And when putting properties on the market, naturally you have to take pictures of it. So you get a photographer, and that's what really kind of attracts buyers. So they used to bring me on to help kind of style it, make it look good for the pictures. Yeah. And it was just something that I enjoyed. It was something that I'm interested in. I'm quite creative. So that's how ultimately I got into it and how it became a business. And I was like, I can actually sell this service to developers, to property investors, to property owners, and help them get the most value for the properties which they're putting on the market. So I either work with a property that's on the market and is struggling to sell. So I'll come on board with my team and take an assessment of the landscape, get an indication of what type of price points they're trying to attract, why the property is not selling, and redesign it, remodel the kind of look and feel, make it more attractive, more presentable to an average buyer, an average homeowner. Yeah. So by doing that, your pictures, the look and feel of the property looks better. You're able to capitalize on getting a higher margin because it looks more attractive and a lot more lucrative.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. So prior to starting your property business, what did you do?
Yeah, so I worked in project management for over 10 years. Yeah. So the whole kind of management and operation stuff just comes totally naturally to me. And I worked in IT project management, more on kind of like product development. So again, in the kind of creative space.
Yeah.
So that's my kind of history. How I kind of couple the project management into my business, Capital Elite, is obviously I'm good with the kind of the operational stuff. But then me as a person, the kind of styling stuff, it just also comes naturally to me as well.
I'm with you. It's got the boom with the style, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I see. So, what would you say then if somebody did want to get into property development or interior design? They're working a 9 to 5. How do they make that transition into that side of the business?
So property development obviously something different, but I'll say into property staging and property styling. Ultimately, I think you need to be creative. You need to be able to you're going into people's homes ultimately, and you're working with people. Everyone's home is different. You can see all sorts of different types of properties in all different states and stuff.
What's the worst property you've seen?
One where it's just really, really dirty and really, really cluttered.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to kind of look past that and be able to create a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing space to the eye. I try to bring a bit of warmth, a bit of coziness to the home. I would say my style is a bit more kind of like classic contemporary, not too modern. And I also like to inject a little bit of fashion, a little bit of, styling into the property. So I use a lot of like coffee table books or luxurious high-end coffee table books, designer coffee table books to bring that kind of luxury aesthetic. Using ornaments, smells, diffusers and stuff like that, good scents, again, to kind of create that, nice kind of luxurious feel. But ultimately, I guess our main brief is, what does an average family want in their home? You know? So if you're doing like a 4-bedroom house, for example, typically you're catering to, husband, wife, couple of children. What does the average family want to see? You want to see a master bedroom, a nice suite. You want to have your communal areas functional, practical, but still aesthetically pleasing. You want the children's room to be light, bright, and airy. Something a child can walk into and say, "Oh yeah, I can. This is my room. I can live here."
Yeah.
So when you're designing rooms, you have that in mind.
I'm with you. That's very interesting. So, how would you go about getting customers, for example? So you start from scratch. You think you've got the style, you've got the eyes for the job.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more to it than just starting the business, or what's the process? Do you need to be qualified? Do you need anything, any verification before you can go into people's homes? What's the process?
Yeah, so it's a bit of both. One, you can actually start with no experience. I started with word of mouth. Like I said, I started with family and friends, and then people would recommend me and recommend my services. And then I qualified myself within this industry, and I still do, because there's always stuff to learn. Also working with interior designers as well, because interior design is something a little bit more separate to home staging.
Can you explain the difference a bit
more?
I
can. Yeah, it's definitely a similar skill set. So you have to be visually creative. You're bringing a project together. But where I'll say the differentiation is as an interior designer, you're pretty much working to someone's individual personal style. But as a property stager, you're depersonalizing the property because you're creating to a wide variety of audience. Again, so the brief is, what does an average family want to see when they come into a home? Where an interior designer might be, what's going to create, what feeling do you want this room to create for you personally? What type of mood and vibe do you want your home to have personally? Where as a property stager, you're not thinking about that because you will limit the audience in which the property could be suitable for.
Okay. So there is a slight
difference. Property staging, the pure value is it. The pure value is, how can you maximize the return on either your investment or your home. So you're dealing with people who want to sell their homes. They might put it on the market for $420, and then decide, oh, do you know what? Actually, no, I want more of a competitive rate. I want to put up to $450. How are you going to make that difference? What value are you going to put into the property to make that type of difference? That's where the staging comes in. Make it look more appealing. Make it look like, oh yeah, a family can come in and see, oh yeah, I can live here. But an interior designer would be like, okay, so tell me a bit about you. What's your personal style? Let's bring your personal style in the home. Your personal style might not appeal to Joe Blogs who wants to come and buy your property.
I'm with you, definitely. So, what's the biggest markup you've done then? Like the biggest percentage increase on a property so far?
So I've taken a property from 500k to 550.
Yeah.
But the projects vary as well. I've done small projects, as in like, 1-bedroom apartments. I've done 4-bedroom houses as well.
Yeah.
In terms of my pricing strategy, it varies on the project depending on what the client wants.
So when you went from 500 to 550, was that all internal, no building work, no change in the actual structure?
So that was light furnishing. And when I say light furnishing, it's not necessarily changing the structure of the building.
Yeah.
There's not heavy interior changes and structural changes. It's more kind of light furnishing, like furniture, appliances, things like that.
Yeah.
But as a company, we have kind of different packages depending on what the homeowner wants. I work with developers, I work with, like I said, investors, and I work with, normal kind of homeowners. And their reasons for getting a stager always vary, and also the type of services they want vary. So, for example, a developer, they're happy to have the furniture left in the property. So all of that is billed in the fees. So, okay, I'll source I'll source these stuff for you. I'll make it look aesthetically pleasing. Once the job is done, I can walk away. The furniture is left in your property. Some is on a leasing basis. So the furniture is only there for a duration of time. After that time, my team comes, clears it out. That's a package. That's a different service. And some people want more of a slightly cheaper service where they want to use the stuff that they already have. So I take what they have in the property. We need to kind of declutter it, restyle it, move things around, remodel, we can do so. And then I inject a bit of my own stuff from my own warehouse, again, just to kind of really fulfill the brief. So there's different aspects of kind of like the staging depending on the person's needs and wants.
I'm with you. So it sounds like there's a lot to it, and also you need like some budget. So they say the average salary is like 30k for everyone in the UK. Mm-hmm. How does someone on the average salary fit into like your pricing strategy?
I guess I don't kind of look at it like that, as in the kind of the average for the UK. We have our general rates ranges between 150 to £300 an hour, again depending on the project. But there are a lot of things that are taken into consideration when giving someone a cost breakdown. Where the property is located, like I said, which package are you looking for? How long is it going to take us to get property from one location to the property location, especially if you're outside of London or in Greater London? So these are the type of things we take into consideration. But you're dealing with people as well. So we work towards, as best as we can, to a person's budget and towards their brief.
I'm with you.
But if you're going to ask me, my rate, what I take home after everything, at least £1,000.
Okay, not too bad.
It's not too bad.
So let's focus a bit more on the actual business itself then. So to put all of this together, it sounds quite challenging to me. There's a lot of moving parts to it. So for somebody starting out, how would they, for example, source the connections to get great furniture, people that will decorate the premises, etc.? How do you manage to balance all of that? What would be some advice?
So like I said, I've always been in property, in terms of like family and stuff. So I used to go to a lot of property networking events, and you meet a lot of investors. So networking with people like that. Also, I go to a lot of trade shows, and you see obviously designers, show homes as well, things like that. There's a show home coming up shortly where I'll be going there to kind of network with people, and also building your kind of supplier list as well. If I need to get a some type of contemporary table, who would I go to? Who will also supply that? What are their rates? How competitive are their rates? That's the kind of operational side. But you're constantly kind of building your network and just looking for kind of people to work with. So I want to work with developers, I want to work with investors, I want to work with stylists, I want to work with people who sell furniture, lease furniture, who hire furniture as well, and ornaments and stuff like that, and accessories. So yeah, I'd say that's how you get into it. In terms of just kind of going back to your previous question, I think ultimately you need to be creative. You need to, like I said, you need to have an eye. You need to be able to go into a property and visualize how you can transform the space. You also need to be a little bit determined as well, because you are working towards people's budgets. And so some of my suppliers on the books who I prefer to work with, their rates may be a bit higher than, for my client's brief.
Yeah.
So you need to be going out there, finding people that can still help fulfill the vision, the creative vision, but at a rate which fits within your client's budget and stuff like that. And I think you also need to have a passion for it as well. A lot of the time people don't realise or see the value in having a home stager. Especially, kind of the normal average person who's selling their home on Rightmove.
Yeah.
They don't always see the benefits of it. So you do need to have a bit of passion. And also, with having that passion, you obviously kind of convince people on the value on what you do and why you do it. That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you found the industry as a Black woman? There's always challenges being a female in any kind of working environment, etc. So as a Black woman in this industry, how have you found it?
Yeah, there's always challenges, but if I can be very, very blunt, I don't let the challenges stop me, because there's always opportunity.
Yeah.
So just about attracting that opportunity, being open to opportunities, and grinding for it, to be honest.
What would you say? Would you say there are many opportunities out there for Black females in general now? What would you say the market's like?
Yeah, I mean,
business-wise as well, like for startup Black founders, Black female founders, what would you say the space is like at the moment?
There's opportunity. I think, we're in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a digital age. If you want something, I personally feel like you can make it happen. I know that, I guess, being a Black person, we don't have the same opportunities in compared to other races and stuff like that. But I really feel like everyone can eat, man.
Yeah. There's room for everybody now, yeah.
There's room for everyone. It's not easy, so you do need that perseverance, but everyone can eat.
Oh, nice. That's good to know. So you haven't found like people treat you differently once you deliver a high standard of work? It's good to go.
I think I've come from a corporate background. Like I said, I come from project management. So as sad as it sounds, I feel like I've desensitized myself to certain things. This is our brief. I'm delivering this brief. Are you happy with it? I don't think my colour kind of comes into question.
I'm with you. Okay, next I would like to ask you a bit about what's coming next then. So where do you plan to take this?
Yeah, so definitely scaling up. I want to be able to deal with more, like loads of projects on the go. Right now, we kind of focus on kind of one project at a time. So we want to scale up, and also tap into a higher clientele.
Yeah.
So ideally, I want to kind of position Capital Elite where we're working on people who have staging budgets from anything from 150k upwards. So yeah, that's kind of future goals of Capital Elite. But for now, our niche, our businesses, we pretty much work on new build developments.
Okay. So you work as a project manager and you're planning to scale this business.
Mm-hmm.
So what's some advice that you would give in terms of managing people and growing a team?
Mm-hmm. Managing a team is, I think there needs to be like an element of servant leadership, if you understand what I mean by that terminology.
Explain for us.
Okay. All right. So it's like you are the leader ultimately. You're directing the team, but you're also a servant of the team because you listen to your team's input.
Yeah.
And you basically facilitate their skills, because it's a people business. You hire people who are good and better than you to do stuff.
Yeah.
And you nurture their skills and you nurture their skill set towards the vision which you've given them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. So that would be your advice, to hire good people and nurture the talent.
Nurture the talent. I read this book, is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Good book.
Taking the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you, what's your 3 most influential books in terms of either personal development or just general education that you thought was great?
Yeah, so that one's good. I'm currently listening to the audio for Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yeah.
The Rich Dad Poor Dad books are good as well. And I had the opportunity to meet Robert Kiyosaki, which was amazing too.
Wicked. What did you think about him in person? I've read that book, and I think about 4 of our guests have mentioned that book now.
Yeah.
And I was saying that should be like
it's
required reading for if you're about maybe 13 or something, like a really young age. It should be required reading. But yeah, how was he in real life? What did you think of it?
Inspiring. I've not just read that book. I've read the second. I've read the cash flow quadrant, how to leverage people's time. I even read the one he done for kids as well, for teenagers. So yeah, I take your point. I think definitely give it to young children for them to read. But I found him inspiring, him and his wife, Kim Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
I found him captivating. And I think he's also a good nurturer of people as well. Yeah. He talks about leveraging people's time and leveraging people's money. You're leveraging people's time by, again, you're employing good people who are good at what they do and nurturing that.
Yeah.
Another book which I say is really good is Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill.
That's my favorite one.
Taps into
that's
mindset.
My number one, like all-time favorite book.
That's all about visualizing what you want in life.
Next, why would you put that on the list?
I'm a visual person. I'm a creative person. I like visually appealing things, and I visualize a lot for myself. And I find that when I visualize my goal, when I write my goal down, it may not come immediately, but I actually realize that it comes.
Yeah.
I generally realize that about myself. So that's one of my favorites.
So,
and the perseverance as well. If you read his story, he persevered.
Yeah.
Wasn't taking no for an answer, and wasn't taking the no personally either.
Yeah, and I thought it was amazing, like the story about his son. There's so many different reasons why I think that book's amazing. But let me just ask you a little bit more about that part, because I think it's a great topic. Mm-hmm. When you talk about visualizing stuff for the future, how far ahead are you visualizing?
It's just like, what does the end goal look like? And what does that, and what feeling do you have?
Do you put a time scale on it?
I think there are certain things you have to put time scales on to make it realistic, to make it pragmatic, especially if you're going to execute certain kind of business goals. Your 5-year plan, your 1-year plan, your 6 months plan. But then your grand vision, sometimes there isn't a time for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh, actually done this. This actually came to light. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you do all of the exercises in the book?
No. About good energy. And also, I think I attract people who are for me. I attract good people.
Why do you feel like that?
I think because in the first couple of minutes of talking to someone, I can tell if they're a bit of me or not. To be honest, I go on instant energy. But obviously, on a professional note as well, it's I ask probing questions to find out what exactly do they want. You know, why they want to stage up, what is their goal, what they're trying to attract, why they want the figure that they're trying to attract, or what's their reason and motivation for doing this. So you can see from questions like that what type of person you're working with, and also what mental state they're in as well. Remember, people put their homes on the market for different reasons. Some it's they want to flip. Some it's they're moving on to bigger and better things. But some people are putting their properties on the market because of trauma, because of nasty relationships, and
have you come across that? So
I had one person, and I didn't work with them, but we stayed in contact. We just built a relationship. But yeah, they were going through some traumatic stuff and a breakup, and that was the reason why they wanted to sell their property.
Yeah.
And they just wasn't getting any traction for the property. So I had a consultation with them to look at what can we change within your budget, and what furniture can we use to make your property look a bit more aesthetically pleasing. But that person wasn't in a good place to really do anything with them. So I kind of stepped away.
Yeah.
And the energy weren't right either, to be honest.
With you. So they say not all customers are good customers, is what they say. So I guess it's a bit of that in that industry as well. So
definitely.
Yeah, let's go back onto a bit about the motivation side of things. So you read books such as Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People. What would you say keeps you motivated in general?
I like creating. I like designing. I like bringing a touch of luxury into people's homes. The motivation is when the project is finished, how people feel about that. I really like making people happy in terms of that regard. Also, I like bringing something to life. So we're taking something from concept and then realizing that, and then seeing, okay, yeah, this room looks beautiful. This is what we planned, and it's come to life. I like that. It's a good feeling. It's a good accomplishment as well. I think that's the motivation. Just working with people. I like working with good people. That keeps me motivated. Working with good people, collaborating. That's the motivation, I would say. The money comes after.
I agree. And let's talk a bit about the box then, and how they helped you and how you became involved with them. So could you please explain what the box is for the audience? Yeah,
so I won't go into too much detail. I think it's worth getting them on the show, and they can do that. But the box is a equity funding platform that supports Black businesses. It also allows you to tap into a pool of investors as well. So Black investors who want to invest in Black businesses. Those are kind of the premises of the box. But yeah, the CEO I've known for a very, very long time. And we've got quite a good relationship. And although they didn't necessarily help me, like in terms of actually kind of getting the funding, just with the relationship, they gave me tips, kind of free consultations, and kind of gems on what to do in order to kind of get the initial capital for Capital Elite.
I'm with you. So before we close, can you just let people know where they can find you? Firstly, your Instagram, Twitter, or whatever socials you use.
Yeah, sure. So I'm on Instagram predominantly. You can find me at Capital Elite. Also, you've got my personal page, Melanie Saka, as well, where I show my kind of more personal brand. And then also my website, www.capitalelite.co.uk.
So there you have it, guys. You can check out Melanie if you need to redesign your house, get it back up to scratch, ready for the Christmas, know what to do. And lastly, if there was one thing you could change about the world, what would it be?
Oh, goodness. What a question. One thing I could change about the world. Do you know what? I would change the school curriculum.
Why?
I don't think the curriculum system breeds entrepreneurs.
I agree. Do you think that's a problem, and if so, why?
I mean, I have to say it's a little bit of a problem, because I think it conditions people more to follow than lead. At the same time, can everyone be a leader?
No. No.
But I also think that the curriculum doesn't prepare people for life or teach people how to make money. I went through the kind of conventional route, college, university, etc.
Yeah.
I've done a business of law degree. Do I use what I study day to day? Arguably, you kind of say no. It didn't teach me financial freedom. It didn't teach me how to invest. It didn't teach me about stock markets. It didn't teach you how to even get a mortgage. To be honest, it just doesn't apply you. It doesn't prepare you enough for the everyday life. So I think one thing I would change is adjusting the curriculum to incorporate, I guess, more kind of day-to-day learnings in terms of how do you survive as an adult. Thanks for your time. Again, my name is Melanie Saka. My company is Capital Elite. You can find us on Instagram, Capital Elite, and you can also find us on our website, www.capitalelite.co.uk.
Thank you very much, Melanie. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you've liked and subscribed. And as I said, Knowledge Finder, check out the website.
Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. That's what I think when I hop out my bed. Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. When I wake up, I gotta get fed. Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. It's a new day, so some money I met. Gotta run me up a 1-2 check. Watch me do my dance, watch me do my step.